We're now going to focus our attention in Singapore because one of the things we've been discussing during the day today is what we can learn from other countries. And earlier last week, I was delighted to have a chance to speak to Guan Teck Heng. He's known as Heng in the WorldSkills community, and he is of great importance in this debate. He's Deputy CEO of the Institute of Technical Education in Singapore. And here's our conversation from last week. Welcome back to the WorldSkills UK International Skills Summit. And this event has a very important focus. It's about the skills that are required for growth. And that's why I'm delighted to say we are joined today by a man who is incredibly important in the world of skills in his own country. He's the Deputy CEO at the Institute of Technical Education in Singapore, and he is Guan Teck Heng. Welcome, and thank you very much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
And now you are Deputy CEO of the Institute of Technical Education in Singapore. One of the things we're very, very keen to learn is how technical education actually works in Singapore and how WorldSkills as an organization links with that. How is it a part of that?
So in Singapore, we have a very structured education system. Most of our young people complete 10 years of education. After that, they choose to either go to a college or to a TVET institution. More than half of our young people actually go into TVET institutions. So our TVET institutions would be the 5 polytechnics that we have in Singapore, as well as my institution, the Institution of Technical Education, ITE in short, and we have 3 campuses. We take in about 13,000 students every year into our almost 100 2-year courses. And we are very blessed, I must say, to have generous funding from our government to equip us with modern campuses, I would say state-of-the-art, very close to industry, a lot of very advanced tools and equipment. In fact, we have visitors coming to ITE and they tell us that, our government would not provide such kind of funding for TVET institutions. They will only do that for universities. So we are very blessed. And we also have a very strong industry partnership where they actually sponsor laboratories, workshops for us. And it's a win-win for both parties. We get to train our students and our staff with the latest equipment, and the companies get to have a pipeline of trained workers in the future using their equipment. At the same time, they use our facilities to train their customers as well. So it's a win-win.
And can I ask you how WorldSkills is a part of that? How does WorldSkills and the work that you do to deliver skills for the benefit of the city-state, how does that link together?
So education and career guidance, or ECG in short, is very important for us to provide the guidance for the young person before he or she chooses what next after the 10 years of education. And therefore, WorldSkills competition is an important component because through skills competition, it is a good platform for us to promote as well as to recognize skills. And then from there, they can see the different kind of professions. In fact, the majority of our competitors come from the polytechnics as well as from ITE. More recently, of course, we have ICT-related skill areas, and therefore that has attracted some university students to take part as well.
Now, one of the things we'd like to talk about as well with you is the importance that every economy has to place on ensuring that it is delivering the right level of technical skills so that there's some kind of succession planning, that through the pipeline of new skilled workers coming through, they're ready, they're modern, and they are fit for the current climate of work, and certainly the work and the workers that you require. How do you ensure that you achieve that? Because it's all very well having employees that are skilled, but you don't want them skilled for work they were doing 5 years ago. You want them skilled for the work they got to do now and into the future.
That's very important. In fact, with the rapid changes, advances in technology, major shifts in the global economy, there is really a need for us to focus on skills and competencies. And in fact, just about 5 years ago, Singapore embarked on a massive project where we developed industry transformation maps and skills framework for more than the 30 industry sectors in Singapore. We brought together economic agencies, employers, trade associations, the education sector, the unions, and we co-developed this live document. In this document, it provides information on the sector. The lead companies, as part of the working group, will be able to project how the industry will transform. And therefore, the kind of future skills that we need. The document also provides information on career pathways, the kind of occupation and job roles in each sector, existing and emerging skills that is required for these job roles. Each job role is linked to available training programs, whether it's from the private sector or from the public sector. And these are useful for an individual like myself. I will know if I want to go into a particular sector, if I want to go into a particular job, what are the skills and competencies I need to acquire? Not necessarily the kind of degree that I need to attain, but what kind of skills and competencies do I need for that particular job role? For the employer, it would mean that in order for me to be able to compete with other companies, what kind of skill sets do I need from my employees? And then obviously from the training provider perspective like ITE, we will go into this skills framework to see, okay, these are the kind of job roles that we need to train for. What are the skill set that we need to provide into our curriculum? Therefore, the part on consultation with employers are very, very important for us. And we, in fact, our lecturers, they all have industry experience, so they bring with them the industry experience. At the same time, that consistent consultations with employers, they sit on an advisory committee. In order for us to introduce a new course, we need their endorsement. We need endorsement from the employers. We need endorsement from economic agencies. And they sit down with us to help us develop our curriculum. And that's how we engage the industry to ensure that, of course, there's constant review and we ensure that whatever curriculum we have, whatever equipment that we need to procure, they are all industry relevant.
And can I ask you just very briefly, does that mean that when you speak to employers, when you meet and greet, when you have employer sessions where lots of employers in different sectors get together, nobody mentions skills shortages, or people still have skills shortages because that's just the way things sometimes are?
Oh yes, the skills shortage is always there. And usually it is mismatched. And in fact, say for example, for us, when the students come to us at the age of 16, 17, they spend 2 or 3 years with us. And then after that, they go into national service. So there's actually a full 5 years before they go into industry. So by the time, some of the skills that they learn may not be so relevant anymore. And so now we actually focus a lot more less on the front loading. So the front part, we ensure that our curriculum is a little bit more broad-based. And we tell our young people that you have a whole lifetime to reskill and to upskill. So we provide you with a basic foundation for that particular sector. When you go into the companies, you can always come back to us for reskilling, for upscaling, for short courses, just-in-time kind of skills that we can provide for.
Can we talk a little bit about inward investment? Because WorldSkills UK has announced this task force to try and deliver what is so important in every economy, as well as the work you do within the country, attracting investment from outside. How has that been in Singapore? Is that something that you are managing to deliver?
I think it is very important for us. We are, as I mentioned, we are a very small city-state. Some observers say that Singapore is run like a company with the Prime Minister as the CEO. And because we are small, we can be nimble, we can be responsive. So we actually have the Ministries of Trade and Industry, Manpower and Education coming together to do manpower planning. We know the supply side, which is quite easy, and we can be quite accurate at that. Because 16 years ago, how many babies did we produce? That's the supply side. On the demand side, we can get a survey from companies, and we know how many students we should produce for different kind of courses. You know, how many in engineering, how many in infocom, how many in business, etc. Just like in a company where the marketing department will bring in the projects, right? And the HR will have to see, okay, these are the kind of projects coming in. I need to ensure that the employees are properly trained. If not, I have to recruit new ones. But of course, in a private company, they can fire their employees. But in Singapore, every young person, we value them. They're important, and we literally leave no person behind. So from young, we provide ECG, the career counseling, make sure that they choose the correct course, because we think that if they choose the correct course, they will be inspired, they will be motivated, and they will be well. And then, of course, after graduation, we provide the career counseling, we provide the skills upgrading, we do the job matching if they cannot find a job.
Thank you for that. And it's very interesting to hear that there's such a weight of importance is placed about the workforce individually and collectively feeling totally and absolutely valued, which is incredibly fulfilling, I think, for everybody to hear. And I have one last question on something that is really in the zeitgeist of so many discussions right now. You will know in the UK we're going to be hosting the Climate Summit this year, and you may know that the UK has a plan, certainly the target of zero emissions by 2050, and I think some people may think 2050 that sounds secure enough in the distance for us maybe to be able to deliver, but there are some people who are very concerned about the hit that might have to the economy. In particular, we sometimes look to growing economies in the East, and we think, well, we may achieve that because we've done our polluting, if you like. There is a view. In a place like Singapore, how are you greeting this growing pressure for economies around the world to become carbon neutral?
Even though we are a small city-state, we feel that it is very important for us to play a part. In fact, rising sea level is a real challenge for us because, you know, Singapore may disappear. So we actually, in fact, just early this year, we unveiled a very ambitious Green Plan 2030. You know, just typical Singapore style, we have ministries of education, national development, trade industry, transport, and environment coming together to come up with this bold plan. You know, so it's cleaner energy cars, reducing wastage, schools to become carbon neutral, parks for every household to be able to walk to a park within 10 minutes, you know, and this is from 2030 onwards. So we recognize the role that Ministry of Education has to play, the schools, because you need to inculcate the habits, the mindsets from when they are young. And then, of course, the trade industry, we recognize that this will be a new engine for growth, sustainability, new jobs, new industries that we can bring in, whether it's from clean energy, waste recycling, urban farming, water treatment. These are the new industries. And when the new industries come in, and of course, institutes of higher learning like us will then respond with new courses to be able to produce manpower for these industries.
Well, can I thank you for all of that, and also for the detail you've given in your other answers. I'm afraid you were wrong and we were right. We do have much to learn from you, but I suppose we must always remember that us small island nations, we must stick together. So can I thank you very much indeed for joining us today on the call. That is Guan Tek Heng, who is Deputy CEO of the Institute of Technical Education in Singapore. It really has been great to talk to you, and thank you for your time today.